Doing a little transmission lube pressure checking on the Purple 1850. I got my gauge hooked up. You plumb it in right below the filter there. It's only about 10 psi is normal, so you don't need a terribly high gauge. So I took a engine oil gauge I had around and put on this hose, and then I just hook it up to a or take a flexible radiator hose, put it on my drill, put her in low speed, spin her up. Looks like it's good. A little over 10 pounds. Good enough for me. Well, it checks out good. Had just a hair over 10 psi, right where it's supposed to be. If you do have to fix it, the hydraulic unit has to come off because the pump runs off the counter shaft inside the transmission right off the back end. So you only get pressure when the transmission input is turning. And but if you don't have good pressure, the gears, the range gears up in here, they spin pretty fast and they need lubrication, and they're known to burn up. So if you're tearing them down, it's a good idea to check that. Oh look, it's even lubing back at the PTO unit. I didn't have my plug in there good enough to block the oil flow. I don't have the PTO shaft in it, obviously, the long one. And here's my sight gauge I made for this. I got another one on Herman. It's just a brass elbow, some, I'm trying to think of the stuff, but it's a clear plastic tube, polycarbonate. It is clear polycarbonate. Got a clamp on it, just keep it from vibrating. And then this is just a pressure relief valve from an air compressor. You can get them for a couple of bucks through Amazon. And that just lets you let the pressure off, or lets the oil equalize. Because when you're moving the tractor around, the oil can go down from getting drawn in by the gears, or if you're going down a hill. And you just pull that up a little bit to let the air equalize and the oil come up, and it'll tell you what your level is, which is supposed to be right about at this top plug. Pretty simple. I can get a parts list and put them in the video. But now I got a little bit of a mess. I've never used, bought Mystic Gear Lube, and it's red. It's ADW90, but it looks like ATF if you don't feel it. We'll see how she works. Makes it a lot easier to see on the sight gauge, that's for sure. Here was my original idea for this, was to go between these two ports. As you can see, it gives you a very narrow window to see the level, and it's also well below. You couldn't see the actual point of level. This lower level is, if you're running stationary on level ground with PTO, your oil can be as low as this. Your pump's still going to pick up oil and circulate it. But if you're out in the field, you really need to have it up to this, because going up and down hills, the level changes and you can start sucking air on your pump. So you're supposed to be to there, and as you can see, it just wasn't going to work. But this wouldn't have required any breather or anything. Would have been easy to see, but it just didn't give enough of a view. So that's why I like this, using up these parts that I bought to do these. But when I use these up, I'm going to just do an elbow here and a piece of clear PVC with a breather on top. I'll probably still do one of these relief valves, because an open breather could either put oil out, but I'm more concerned about when I power wash that it could let water into the rear end, and I don't want that. So it's just easier for me to be able to pull that little ring and let the air pressure equalize so the oil comes up to whatever level it is at. Or you just make it tall enough, but the taller it is, the more it's going to vibrate, get in the way. like I say, I don't think clear PVC would require any kind of bracing because it's going to be a little more solid than the polycarbonate tubing. Here's an example of the polycarbonate tubing. I'm sorry, this is clear PVC. Came pre-pipe threaded, so I just replaced the existing metal one with this clear PVC piece and then put the cap back on. I did drill and tap the cap for a 1/4 inch pipe thread, and then got one of these relief valves for air compressor. Like I say, a couple bucks online. Then I can just pull that ring up a little bit to let the air pressure equalize, because when you drive the tractor it'll suck the oil out of there following the gears up, and then there's air trapped in there. Guy could put a breather on this one again, but when I do power wash my tractors, I guess the guy could cover up the breather or something, but this makes it easy. I just pull that little ring a little bit, let the air pressure out, and the oil will come up to its level. Quick and easy way to check it without opening things up. Just a 3/4 inch by, I think that was a 3-inch piece of clear PVC. You can find them online. Just I don't know, $5-6 a piece, something like that. Makes it real easy to keep an eye on your oil level, because these transfer cases only hold about 1.5 quarts. So if they're leaking, they get low, you can burn up the transfer case, and that can get expensive. So it's definitely something that's good to keep an eye on. If you do want to make your sight gauge with polycarbonate tubing, just need and it is nice. It is keeps a little closer to the housing than a 90-degree pipe fitting, but more pieces involved, probably a little more expense. But just go from a 1/2-inch pipe thread to a 1/2-inch compression fitting, and however long you want your polycarbonate tube to be. I found all these online. Then a 1/2-inch compression fitting again to a 1/4 inch pipe thread. Couldn't find any of these air compressor relief valves that had anything but 1/4 inch pipe thread, so male. So I went with a 1/4 inch pipe thread union there, or union probably ain't the right word. So I can thread it in, and then just get a clamp of some kind to stabilize it. Put her all together. I like to make it a little bit taller than that top hole, and that way if hydraulic oil is leaking into the rear end, you can see that your rear end is filling up. That's why it's as tall as it is on that 1850. When I do get around and get parts to make one out of clear PVC, I'll throw that in a video sometime. But thanks for watching.